Hello guys, it's Roman and welcome to a new video. I will be making two parts of this video, one in English and one in Spanish, because this is a huge topic. As you guys may know, I like comic books, I like cartoons, and I like anime. My favorite anime right now is Jujutsu Kaisen. And if you guys have been keeping up with the manga, there is a serious issue with the way Gege is doing things. As a warning, if you are not updated with the manga, please enjoy some of my other content as I don't want to accidentally spoil you. This is my warning. Again, if you do not want to be spoiled, please click out of this video and enjoy some other content of mine. I would really appreciate that. But with that out of the way, let's begin with this new video. Alright, as I stated previously, I do love Jujutsu Kaisen. It is the only anime slash manga that has kept me at the edge of my seat. And yeah, today we're going to talk about some serious issues the manga has. And I don't mean Yuji Itadori not being the most powerful. I do not mean Megumi not showing his potential, because yes, people do see that as a problem. I don't mean the pacing either, because people don't like fast-paced animes. I mean the actual problem. And the actual problem is the real villain behind Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't mean Kenjaku. I don't mean the merger. I do not mean Mahito, even though he's dead. Thank God. And I don't even mean Sukuna for the most part. We'll get to that later. I mean the real villain behind Jujutsu Kaisen, which is Gege Akutami himself. We gotta remember first that he was going to kill off Itadori with the finger bearer. You know, that very early chapter where Yuji Itadori finally discovers that he can use cursed energy at its lowest, but he can. And that's how Gege was going to kill him off. He was going to kill him at the ring bearer. Damn it, I say ring bearer. The finger bearer. And yeah, that was going to be the end of his story, because he didn't consider him an actual main character. But due to the popularity, he still kept him because he was relatable to other mangas. And he was basically relatable to other people. Now, as we all know, and if you have watched the anime or read the manga, we all know that Yuji Itadori consumed a finger, a cursed finger, the finger of the mythical Sukuna. Ryomen Sukuna is a demon from 1,000 years ago. Actually, not even a demon. He was just a powerful sorcerer from 1,000 years ago that became evil. Yes, because why not? And since then, he has been known as the King of Curses. The thing is that Gege Akutami has taken the whole Heian era and the unknown aspect of Sukuna way to the extreme. Alright? And I don't mean that, he just knows a lot, or he's very smart, or he's very clever. No. I mean to the point where he's just unbeatable at this point. And sure, you can say, oh, but we don't know what's gonna happen next, and we don't know what... That's the thing. That is exactly the thing. We may get a good character where Sukuna takes damage, and then once we are like, okay, the story's going somewhere, then Gege says, no, he's gonna take a power out of his ass, and he's going to beat your favorite characters. Why? Because he's my favorite character, basically. It's just so stupid, and to the point where it's explicit meat writing at this point. You can say whatever you want in the comments. I will read and try to acknowledge and answer some of them. But at this point, it's just meat writing, even with the most recent chapter. Because every fucking chapter is just that, yes, this guy is powerful, but oh, Sukuna is more powerful now because he knows his technique even though he has never seen it before. And it's like, what? How can you? That's like telling me you take the first person to ever invent basketball, where it was just throwing the ball and just putting it in the basket, and then you show him dribble once, and then he becomes LeBron James or somebody like that. And it's like, bro, no, this is some bullshit. The meat writing goes beyond that, okay? Because yeah, sure, you can say, oh, he's powerful, or oh, he may know a variant of this technique because he has seen it in the Heian era, which is a golden era of Jujutsu. Fine. Now, how can you explain to me that Higuruma, right, the lawyer with the demon on his back, basically, that his executioner sword can take you out if it touches you, right? How can you explain to me that Sukuna was basically looking at the sword stabbed through his hand and he was like, oh my god, this sword is amazing. I really love it. It's so cool, and then chops his hand off like it's nothing. Or, right? You can say, oh, he chopped it before. Fine. 15 Fingers Sukuna took a fucking Jacob's ladder. If you don't know what a Jacob's ladder is basically a ray from the heavens, a laser directly from the angels that is supposed to purify and extinguish all evil, right? And Sukuna is the king of curses, which obviously is evil. When he was in 15 Fingers, he almost died. Like, he had to use some trickery to actually survive. Like, my man's was running for his life at this point. Now, how the fuck can you explain to me that Yuta actually hit him with a Jacob's ladder and he thought it was a shower? He thought he was doing the ice bucket challenge. Dude, that is supposed to kill you. Okay? Let's not go any further. In the Gojo versus Sukuna fight, Gojo literally stated that, oh, I can't beat Sukuna even though he wouldn't have 10 shadows. My guy, Gege had to kill off Gojo's personality, all right, just to praise Sukuna. Because literally Gojo would just say like, oh, he just got a cheap shot. Okay, maybe I will come back and beat his ass again. But it's just so stupid, and at this point, it's like a character does damage when people are actually hyped because the villain is actually doing what villains do, which is losing. Gege is like, nope, my daddy is not going anywhere. Boom, new technique, or boom, new buff. What? That is just the first problem. Let's go into the other ones. Okay, before I actually reach the other topic, I just want to say that it's also some fans that literally just want the world to burn or something because they're like, oh, this makes perfect sense. For Sukuna to survive a Jacob's ladder, yes, it's perfectly fine. But when a character actually does damage, like for example Yuta, when Yuta was actually kicking Sukuna's ass, people were like, oh, this is terrible writing. What is this? Yuta should be losing. Bro, it's Yuta. He's second to Gojo, and Gojo was the peak of Jujutsu. What is wrong with you? But when Sukuna does ass pulls, because at this point it's just ass pulls from Gege, which we'll get to that in in a second. Um, People are like, yes, this is peak writing. It doesn't make any sense. No, it makes perfect sense for me because Sukuna is winning. What? Most of the time, it's just like, shut the fuck up. But anyway, to the next point is the Gege cycle, which is basically what people on the internet are calling the Sukuna cycle. If you don't know what that is, or if you're not familiar with it, don't worry, I got you. It's basically when, for example, after the Gojo fight, we were presented with Kashimo. I can't even take him seriously. We were presented to Kashimo, which was supposed to be extremely hype. He told Yuta to sit down like he was being a boss or something. Um, he gets hyped up. He gets the whole Lightning God title. The strongest of the. What era was he from? I know he was from the weakest era of Jujutsu, but anyway, the strongest of his era, the one that wanted to fight Sukuna, the one with the most mysterious technique. He does something to Sukuna. In this case, Kashimo basically became Deku, and then Sukuna is like, "Oh, cool! Now check this out," and kills the character. Kashimo lasted like 2 seconds, canonically, basically. And then we get a cliffhanger with a new character that will face Sukuna. In the case of Kashimo, which got killed off in 7 seconds, we get Yuji and Higuruma. Now, this goes on and on and on. After Higuruma, I believe it was Yuta, and then like Yuta lasts longer than Kashimo, which is now basically just achieving level 1 of the Shinjuku arc. And after Yuta, it was Maki. After Maki was Kusakabe, because of course we already killed off 90% of the cast, so why not? Then after Kusakabe, it was Miguel, and now it's Yuji with Choso. And at this point, just bring Miwa. I don't know. She can make a binding vow to make her fists act like katanas or some shit. Cause this is just ridiculous. At this point, we have literally 90% of the cast gone. Okay. All of the heavy hitters, all of the normal hitters, and all of the low hitters are gone. The only heavy hitter is Hakari at this point, and he's just basically chilling with Uraume. And Maki's just there to get black flashes, because yes, Gege just makes every woman in Jujutsu Kaisen useless. And Yuji Tadori is just there to watch everyone die and then lock the fuck in because, yeah. But anyway, we're going on to the next point because honestly, this is just dumb at this point. The contradictions. Like I stated before, the whole Gojo situation. I'm not even going to talk about the disaster that was chapter 236 because honestly, that was the biggest ass pull Gege had. His hatred towards Gojo made him sacrifice his story and the interesting aspect of his story just to kill off the character he hated the most. Which is sad, honestly. Because when I see it from the point of a creator, by the way, check out Ben 10 Million and Enforcers. But anyhow, when I see it from the perspective of a creator, I know strong characters can be a problem, but you just gotta handle it in a sense that they're gone, but they could come back, right? Because that way you create that tension, you create that little ray of hope, right? And that's what makes people get engaged with the story. At this point, Jujutsu Kaisen is just a slaughter fest. And like I was saying with the Gojo thing, when Gojo started, we all saw him. He was an arrogant character, and we saw why. He needs to be arrogant to live up to the title of the strongest, right? And that's exactly what Sukuna is too. He's arrogant, and that's why he's the strongest. Because he believes in himself so much, and his ego is so high that there's no way of him thinking of losing. But with the whole Gojo thing, he was arrogant, like I stated before. And when literally Yuji asked him, "Hey, would you lose against Sukuna?" and he was like, "No, it would be draining, but I'd win." He knows how powerful Sukuna is. He knows he's a legend from 1,000 years ago. And he still knows he would win. Hell, even in the Shinjuku art, right in front of his face, he said, like, "Nah, I'm gonna beat your ass." Literally in the middle of the fight, he was beating his ass. And then, boom, Gege dropped the pencil and the pencil cut Gojo in half. And then he's gonna be out here like, no, because it was a binding vow that made Mahoraga from heaven do an amazing slash that perfectly cut Gojo in half. What the fuck? That has to be the biggest ass pull in all anime history. I don't care. I would have believed more if Sukuna got the Death Note and put Gojo Satoru than the whole fucking Mahoraga and he made a blueprint and I made a binding vow so the cut would magically cut Gojo in half. See what I mean? With the whole the whole Jacob's ladder situation. He gets hit by a Jacob's ladder with 15 fingers. He's dying. He's fucking dying. But when he gets hit in his Heian era form, which is now weaker than 15 Finger Sukuna, thanks to Yuji punching the living shit out of his soul, he's perfectly fine. You know those water dropping things that singers do, where they're like sitting in a chair and they just pour water on themselves? That's exactly what the Jacob's ladder was to Sukuna. It did fucking nothing. And it's so stupid at this point because you have such an interesting story. You have such interesting characters. And you have such interesting power sets that giving Sukuna the whole, "Oh, I'm invincible" type thing and killing 90% of the cast is just leading to the most stupid death. Or an asshole. Let's just say that fucking Superman comes down from heaven and punches Sukuna and he dies. That's what you're setting the villain to, and it's stupid because he's a great villain and you are just setting him up for failure. And then when Sukuna gets beaten the worst way possible, because I believe that's what's going to happen, people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is trash," and then Gege's gonna be mad because, "Oh, they're saying my daddy's trash," and it's like, bro, you brought that on yourself.